It was late afternoon when the sun dipped low over the open plains, turning the sky into a wash of gold and burning orange. The dust rose gently with every step of the lone cowboy's horse. He had been riding for days without talking to a single soul, following nothing but the road ahead and the quiet rhythm of his own thoughts. His name was Elias Hart, a man known in a few towns, forgotten in most, and remembered only by the trail he left behind. He wasn't headed anywhere in particular. Sometimes the West decided a man's path for him, and that day it certainly did. A few miles beyond the bend, he noticed something unusual, a broken wagon sitting crooked at the side of the road. At first he thought it might have been abandoned, but then he saw her. A woman dressed in dusty mourning clothes sat on the ground beside the wheel, her hands clenched in her lap, her eyes red as if she had been crying for hours. And next to her, wrapped in a thin blanket, was a small child, no more than 4 or 5 years old. Elias slowed his horse. He had seen many things on those lonely roads, but a widow and a child stranded in the middle of nowhere was something that tightened his chest more than he expected. "You all right, ma'am?" he asked gently as he dismounted. She looked up at him, scared, exhausted, and trying to stay strong. "My name is Clara, and this is my son Luke," she said quietly. "My husband, he passed 3 days ago. Fever. We were on our way to Red Creek to start over, but the wagon wheel broke, and I don't know what to do. We've been waiting for someone to come by." Her voice trembled, but she tried to hide it. Elias removed his hat respectfully. "I'm sorry for your loss." For a moment, they stood there in silence, the wind the only thing daring to move. "I can take you to Red Creek," Elias finally said. "It's a 2-day ride, if weather's good." Her shoulders sagged with relief. "Thank you. Truly." Elias helped Clara and little Luke onto his horse, walking beside them as the night came fast and cold. They made camp under a cluster of old cottonwood trees. Clara tried to stay awake, but her body gave in from exhaustion. Elias kept watch, listening to every sound in the dark, making sure they were safe. By the firelight, he saw how small Luke looked curled up against his mother, and how Clara's hands never fully relaxed, even in sleep, always holding, always protecting. He felt something stir inside him, something he wasn't prepared for. The next morning, the boy warmed up to Elias quickly, riding on his shoulders and asking endless questions. Clara watched them from the saddle, her heart torn between grief and a fragile new hope she barely allowed herself to feel. On the second night, a storm rolled over the plains. They found shelter in an abandoned barn. As thunder echoed across the fields, Clara finally opened up about her husband, how they had dreamed of a quiet life, a small farm, a fresh start. "He was a good man," she whispered, staring at the rain hitting the ground. "I didn't think I'd ever have to do this alone." "You ain't alone," Elias said, soft but firm. He didn't realize he had moved closer until she looked up at him, her eyes reflecting the firelight. There was nothing romantic about that moment, not yet. Just 2 people surviving, 2 souls holding on to whatever warmth the world still allowed them. When they finally reached Red Creek at dawn, Clara hesitated before dismounting. She looked at Elias the way someone looks at a lifeline they aren't ready to let go of. "Thank you," she said, voice breaking. "You saved us." Elias shook his head. "Just did what any decent man should." But as he started to turn away, Luke ran and hugged his leg. "Don't go," the boy whispered. Clara's breath caught. She didn't try to stop Luke. She didn't try to hide the tears in her eyes this time. Elias knelt down slowly. "Your mama's strong. She'll be okay." Clara stepped closer, placing a gentle hand on Elias's arm. "We will," she said. "But you could stay, if you wanted." The world stood still for a moment. A cowboy who had spent years with no home suddenly found one waiting for him. Elias looked at Clara, at the courage she carried, at the tenderness buried beneath her grief, and something inside him shifted. "I reckon," he said quietly, "I'd like that." And so the cowboy who had planned to keep drifting finally found a place and 2 hearts to come home to. Not because he was a hero, not because fate demanded it, but because sometimes, in the vastness of the West, the most unexpected road leads a man exactly where he belongs.